All right, start the show in 3, 2, 1.
No.
Action, Ryan.
Action. Am I supposed to be doing something? Or is
I don't
it
know, do something. What are you doing?
just theoretical actions?
Doing something with yourself?
Yeah.
Why is this not starting? Oh, there it is.
No, I do not do stuff with myself. How
Keep
dare
talking.
you,
Keep
good
stalling.
sir.
You need to stall while I do what I'm doing here.
I got the chat open. I got the show notes open. I got everything open right now. So
Whoa. Maybe a little
I'm
less
good.
specific about what you're doing with yourself right now.
Hey, you know what I do from the neck down while we're recording doesn't matter.
I don't know. All I know is you just said you had a lot of things. You had everything open. Is that like a literal thing, or just are we talking computer stuff here?
Computer stuff.
Yeah, right.
So,
I think personally, I think that's a literal thing. But whatever. What do I know?
Hey,
you know what
everybody.
I do know, Ryan?
What do you know?
I know that this is episode 78 of the Geek Dad Report. The one show dedicated, formulated, blah, 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 blah. Let me start that again. Hang on.
Take 2. Take a drink. Relax your throat muscles. It's been a long day.
We're not talking about openings and relaxing throat muscles. Not going to happen on the show tonight. All right, take 2.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to the Geek Dad Report, episode 78, to be specific. I think that works, right? Anyway, we're the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created into
a ball of awesomeness.
Yes, sure, why not? We're the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created into bringing you a ball of awesomeness. That isn't even whatever. And have Ryan relax his throat and open all his holes. And also maybe bring you all the weekly news you need to know in the nerd and geek stratosphere. And hopefully entertain the shit out of you, or at least partially make you smile. And at the very least, hopefully, maybe, please get at least a small giggle. It's a little one. A little giggle out of you. Maybe a chuckle.
I'm all about the giggles.
Or maybe even the sympathy laugh. I don't really care at this point. But we're going to get at least one of those things out of you tonight. I guarantee it. Boom. The Brian West guarantee seal of approval. I'm punching a lot of nothingness if you're watching this show.
Yes.
All right.
If I was direct punching my face, because essentially I'm looking at you.
Yeah, it looks like I am trying to punch your face. How dare you? No, I would never punch your face. You know why, Ryan, I would never punch your face?
I would just caress.
You're beautiful, and I love you.
Like right now, I'm just caressing your face like this.
Oh, makes me feel. I feel good. I feel all warm and tingling inside right now. If you haven't noticed, and I haven't said it yet, I am Brian West, your ever loyal, never. I can't think of any goddamn adjectives tonight. I am adjective free tonight. I'm the fucking host, and that bad motherfucker over there is my co-host, Ryan Tomlinson.
You know, I wrote down a whole introduction for you. If you would just look in the show notes, you wouldn't have had to, think of stuff.
Come on, man. We both know I can't read.
But obviously, you did not want to look.
Well, you know what? I may not want to look. And you know what? People listening may not want to look either at anything. So maybe you should just tell them where they can find us.
Well, there are so many places you can find us. We are on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report. We are on Twitter at the Geek Dad Report. You can find us on watchplayread.com, podhellmedia.com. You can listen to us audio only on iTunes. And most importantly, if you're watching us live right now, on YouTube. And so please like, subscribe, leave us 5-star ratings and heaps of praise in the comments. We appreciate news tips that come to our way from the Faithful 50. Jeff has been doing a really good job of sneaking us stuff before we can get to it. So, yeah, we love all that. We love the conversation, the spin-off, everything. So please just come find us, strike up a conversation. So there you go, people. It's not that hard.
Yeah, that's what she said, Ryan. Oh my God. Well, like Ryan said, find us in one of those places. Subscribe, like, share, tell us we're great or tell us we're not great, but do it with the smiley emoji.
But tell us something.
Yeah, tell us something.
We desire feedback. Any feedback is good feedback.
Yeah, we also have a Patreon page coming up sooner than later, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we're just we're trying to figure out what we should have, what rewards to give people that pay money for extra content. So
Well, as always, when me and Ryan take our little winter break for a week or two, we have a State of the Union meeting coming, and there are some cool things planned. Hopefully by then I'll have my MacBook. If Apple wants to make it and send it to me, that would be awesome. Apple, if you're listening, I would love my goddamn MacBook sooner than later. But once we get all that stuff set up, we have some cool stuff coming your way. So be on the lookout for all that stuff. I feel like that landing was a little, or that takeoff was a little shaky. I feel like we got off the ground.
Yes.
But I feel like I was the pilot that was drinking.
Essentially, I think that was a really good way of putting it. Now we kind of we can write, we'll get up at the 50,000 feet and just go to cruising.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit like Denzel Washington in that movie where he did like the barrel roll. I think we watched it at your house. We were like, he's like this, but he was totally just wasted. I feel like I was I wasn't totally wasted, but I was partially wasted, and I did a half barrel roll, like a 320 roll.
As long as it doesn't become like Con Air, and
dude, I'm totally growing a mullet.
Like we got Cyrus the Virus and all that kind of stuff going on, and I think we're good. So.
All right. Well, luckily, we don't have any viewers right now, so no one saw that embarrassing. Wasn't fucking embarrassing. No one saw that epic. Awesome. You know what? I can't. I have no adjectives tonight. I am fucking adjective free. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know what. Maybe we should just dive right into the news and just get this.
Oh my God! How am I going to do the news? I can't speak.
I don't know. Would you like me to get it started for you?
Yeah. Whoa. Hey, it's also what she said, Ryan.
Well, we have Ninja News. Cha. And let's see if Brian can remember. So,
if I can remember. Okay. No, first of all, I do not have a memory problem. I just have an adjective problem today, and I just can't spit out all my normal descriptions that everyone comes here to watch us say.
So I'm going to start, with the Cobra Kai leg sweep of learning.
All right. I have the uppercut of knowledge.
Oh, good job. I'm so proud of you.
Do not patronize me, Ryan.
I'm not.
Never.
I would never, Brian. I would never use my superior intelligence against you.
I don't know what that means, but I feel like you're trying to trick me. Whatever. What else? What you got? You got the judo chop of what, Ryan?
Oh, justice.
Justice is not news related. All right, justice is what I'm gonna deal to you for butchering our intro to Ninja News. You know what? Fuck it, whatever. Ninja News time, people.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. Are we doing the double shooters? This is a fucking disaster.
This is a disaster. I got pea shooters.
We're pea shooting now. God almighty. Jesus Christ. Maybe I should just check my fantasy football team while we're just on air. No, yes?
My fantasy football team is a pile of shit right now, so that's all I know.
All right, well, whatever. Diving into Ninja News. That's a great segue. Let's just do it. Jesus, I feel like we need hang on. We need a fucking palate cleanse. That's something. Give me something. Give me a story.
We need one of those. What's the British thing? It's like do, or just like.
Oh, where it says pausing
just
for commercial interruption, and then people run around in circles to funny music.
Just show like you and me just walking off the screen. Just.
All right, you know what? Hang on. Here we go. While we gather our thoughts, we have a word from our great hero, Captain America. Hey everybody, it's me, Captain America, here to tell you to brush your teeth, floss twice a day, and don't get involved in politics. It's all fucking bullshit. And vote in 4 years. See you later. All right, thank you, Captain America.
Yeah, that was a great PSA. I think we need to do more. We need to get some more of those kind of things going.
Yeah, more Captain or more like Batman. We want Batman back on the show again.
No, we can do it for next week.
As long as we don't do drunk Harrison Ford again, because he really fucking wrecks the show.
I can't believe what he did to the bathroom after the show.
You can't believe what he did to my bathroom. It was my goddamn bathroom. I'm the one that had to clean that fucking mess up.
I just saw the images. That was enough for me. So
yeah, well, whatever. It was disgusting. But you know what's not disgusting, Ryan? Fucking news. And there's not a lot of it, but it's good news.
Geek news.
It's geek news. You know, geek news is always good news. Because in geek news, you don't have to worry about the world ending or horrible things happening to people. You just talk about shit that really doesn't mean anything in the world, like fucking Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and how they might get a prequel. And why? I don't know. But, well, we all know because it's money. But
holy shit! Game of Thrones is getting a prequel? Tell me more.
Well, it's a rumor. George R. R. Martin he wants to keep that money train coming. And he wants to not have a reason to finish writing his books because HBO is essentially going to finish it for him. And he can just be like, hey, fuck it. You guys just did it for me. So
I got two questions for you. Do you think George R. R. Martin is just going to Cliff Notes the fuck out of his last two books? He's going to do like the Idiot's Guide for like the Cliff Notes of Winds of Winter and whatever the final fucking book is.
Well, he's already written Winds of Winter, and apparently allegedly, and it's just been like in heavy editing. So I think that book is going to be a full book, but I think, like you said, I think the last is going to be like, because you know how his book's like 6 inches thick. It's going to be like a novella, and it's going to be like.
Wait a minute, Ryan. How do you know those books are 6 inches thick?
There's a lot of things I got around here that's 6 inches thick. So I could grab one right now.
So wait a minute. Is it like 6 inches thick like this? Or is it like actually 6 inches thick like this?
If I do a full 6 inches and I hold it up to me, it has to be pretty. I was trying to do it up to the mic for this.
So question, does your wife think it's 6 inches? So like, is the book actually like this? Or is it like a real?
No, I mean, I told my wife it's 6 inches, so obviously what I have is like 13, 14 inches. So.
Oh, all right. Well, the rest of his books are going to be, like I said, the little like read in your bathroom materials.
Yeah.
Right, well, so what me and Ryan are fucking joking about here is, so basically George R. R. Martin has been in talks with HBO to flesh out a prequel series, something he's been talking a lot about over the last couple of years, basically because, like Ryan said, he is riding that gravy train all the way to Moneytown and doesn't want to stop anytime soon. And honestly, let's be honest, none of us want it to be over anytime soon. So I fully endorse it. So I think it's cool. Nothing concrete yet, but this has got to happen, right? This is going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And I think Eva Chris had a good what he would want to see is before the wall. Like when the Starks had the old gods and the children of the forest and stuff like that were all out, and there's a lot more magic. And I would like to see if they did Valeria Doom and like
that's kind of what I'd like to see.
But
so I think if they did, and real quick, we are recording live. Anybody who's watching this later in the day. Jeff, we are not ignoring your questions. We see them. We're going to answer them in just a second. So thank you for hopping on live. Jeff has given us a little news bit we'll talk about, and then he gave us a funny story that he wants to say. So, as always, everyone, you can join us live every Thursday around 7:30 Pacific time, the right time, the best time. And if you live chat us, we will talk about it on air. So that's going to be a new ongoing segment. So anybody who joins us, thank you. And say whatever you want to. If it's awesome, we'll talk about it. If it's not, we'll still laugh on the inside. We just may not talk about it as much. But back to Game of Thrones. So yeah, I think there's two things that they could do in a prequel that people would really love. There's thousands of years of history that George has kind of fleshed out in his novels that they could draw from. But I think the two things that would be most interesting to people is what you said, the Doom, the fall of Valeria, and the rise of the House Targaryen. I think would be awesome, kind of the establishing of Westeros as we know it now. I would like that because you could bring all the characters, any character you want. It could be all new. You would have almost no idea what was going to happen because I mean, I guess you could probably flesh out the George R. R. Martin history of Targaryens, but I mean, ultimately, if you didn't want to do that, we could watch all new characters and not know exactly what was going to happen. I think that'd be a really cool way to play the prequels. I think the other thing that I think a lot of people are clamoring for is Robert's Rebellion. You kind of see what happened. To me, you know, it will led up into basically the beginning of Game of Thrones. To me, that's less interesting because we kind of already know all that, and we're starting to see even flashbacks in the last season. And I think that's a cool story, but I don't necessarily want to see that in a prequel series. Maybe if you did like a 6-episode miniseries, I think that would be cool. But
yeah, I think that would be good. Like seeing like an actual young Robert before he got old and fat, and
he was totally just
like,
a badass.
when he was in his prime, he was like a pretty big badass. But like you said, with the Targaryens, I mean, that would be, you know, right. The wall's already been built for like 1,000 years. So if they're going, I don't know how far back they'd have to go to do all that stuff. But there's a lot of stuff they could do. And
I know Exifer Evil Chris from Utah Outcast posted earlier on our Facebook page that he would like to see the actual wall being built. I want to say it was who built that thing? Bran the Builder built that.
It was Brandon the Builder Stark.
Yeah, and so that's what he'd like to see. Personally, I think that's so far in the past that I don't know if that would resonate. I don't know if it would feel Game of Thrones. It's so far beyond the characters we know and the things we know now. Plus, I have a feeling this season and next season are going to answer a lot of questions about who built the wall, why it was there, who's the Ice King. You know, all the little things. Well, I guess we do know who the Ice King is and where the White Walkers came from, but. I don't know. I would like to see something more that we haven't discussed a lot on the show, but maybe hinted at. So anyway, that's where I'm at on that. Let us know what you guys would like to see in a Game of Thrones prequel, what you think would be the best prequel, or if you think Game of Thrones prequel should be around at all anyway. At all. Done. Period. Maybe. Moving on. Jeff, faithful 50 member Jeff, he's right there with Phil as the captain of the Faithful 50 Army. He's actually also our embedded reporter. He's our official Geek Dad Report embedded reporter. He's the one person who's constantly giving us news stories for us to follow up on. So thank you, Jeff. If you're still watching, we appreciate it. He just gave us a news story that he wanted us to talk about. Apparently, he just found out that 24 years ago today, Superman died at the hands of Doomsday in the comic books. A day that will live in infamy. I remember that. They had the black Superman bands. They had the comic book with the black cover. Do you remember that time, Ryan?
I remember my cousin got the comic, and he wouldn't even let me read it because he put it in with the hardback in a plastic case. And
that was back when everybody thought every single fucking comic book was going to be a goddamn $1 million collector item.
Yeah, and he was like, I read it. It was great. And I'm like, all right, well, I want to read it. No.
Too bad you can get a black bagged Death of Superman right now on eBay for like $3.
Yeah. So, thanks, Dane.
But hey, whatever. Was it the greatest comic ever? No, not really. But as a huge Superman fan growing up, I was like, holy fuck, they killed Superman. This is bullshit.
He can't die.
Okay, and then they replaced him with like the 4 of the lamest Superman you will ever see, except for Steel. I kind of like the idea of Steel. It's like an Iron Man, Superman.
Yeah, wasn't it? So there was that one. There was like
Superman. There was Superboy. That's where they introduced Superboy, who ended up being like a part clone with a weird Jerry curl and glasses. It was terrible. Then they had Superman that ended up being Cyborg, who ended up actually being Hank Henshaw, who like never died. It was really a weird story. And he became like a super evil villain in the DC universe. And then there was who was the other one?
Was there one that had like a big mace or like a big hammer or something?
Well, they had Steel, who was Henry Irons, who he was a man who had been saved by Superman, so he decided to honor Superman's memory by building he was like a super smart engineer. He was a black Tony Stark. and built a suit of armor to honor Superman called Steel, and he, flew around and
Okay.
had a fucking hammer that just jacked people up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever. Superman came back with the black suit and the awesome mullet. Hopefully they have both of those in the new Justice League movie coming out, which also Jeff mentioned will be released a year from today.
Yes. Do you think they'll actually give Henry Cavill the mullet?
No, I wish they would, but they won't do it. I do hope though that they move it, because a year from like today is only a month away from Star Wars Episode 8. So I would like to see Justice League have a lot more time by itself, because Episode 8 is gonna fucking crush the box office.
Oh yeah, my son has been asking me at least like once a week.
Yeah.
Like, when's the next Star Wars come out?
Rogue One is less than a month away, and it's gonna fucking crush at the box office.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, did you see the new poster? Woo!
Yes, what's the helmet, and then in the reflection it's the rebel
Hang on, I'm pulling it up right now.
symbol.
So
And then it's got the ATs in the background. Yeah, it's pretty awesome looking. I just hope it lives up to.
All right, there it is, people. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. You see that?
It's really bright. Yes, now we can see it.
All right. Well, I got to talk to it. Goes to my screen. There it is, people. The Rogue One poster. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on our Facebook page and Twitter account, and it's goddamn beautiful.
Yeah, I hope it can live up to the expectations at start. I mean, I was kind of like, once I saw that first fucking trailer, I think it was when the guy shot the fucking AT-AT with the rocket launcher. That was just like, from then on, I've just been like, I'll do this shit. Oh.
Well, ever since I heard that it was a Star Wars movie, I was pretty much on board, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for Star Wars. No, honestly, I really think it looks great. The latest trailers. We'll talk a little bit about the international trailer that was released last week. We didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show later in the episode, but yeah, I'm really on board for Rogue One. I think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to pull down the numbers that Episode 8 or Episode 7 will, but I think it's probably going to do a solid $1 billion, which is good business.
Yeah, well, the only thing for me is that I'm just curious how a prequel plays out, because it's like with episodes 1, 2, and 3. I mean, like, yes, there are new stories, but you know how it ends. So, I mean, it's,
well, here's my thing about this. Even though it is a prequel, I get it's a prequel. It's not really a prequel type movie. It's a standalone. It's a standalone story that takes place before Episode 4. It's not a prequel movies where it ties in. It doesn't have all the characters that we're already familiar with. It's its own story. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with this. So, in a way, yes, we do know that they are successful stealing the Death Star plans. We know it because we've seen it in A New Hope. But other than that, we don't know anything about this movie. We don't know who lives, who dies. We don't know what Vader does. We don't know what any of these characters do because we have no idea. And to me, that's exciting. It's telling. I'm really excited to see how this works, because this is the first time Star Wars has tried to tell a story that's not attached to the Skywalkers with new characters in a way, and it's something that we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm really, really, really excited about.
Well, and there's really no, like, the first one without any actual Jedi. I mean, there's that one dude that
well, it's got Darth Vader.
Sensitivity. Well, yeah, that's true. All right.
Can I just get 5 minutes of Darth Vader riding a tie, murdering people with a lightsaber? That's all. That's all I need. Just 5 minutes.
I think the whole theater will just collapse if that doesn't happen.
Oh my God. That's all I want to see. That is literally all I want to see. Just let me, forever we heard how awesome Darth Vader is, and let's be honest, he's never done anything that cool. Even in the prequels, Anakin wasn't all that badass. Just give me one scene where Darth Vader is so awesome that you're like, that's why that motherfucker is feared across the galaxy.
Just have Darth Vader like on a planet. He like looks up into the sky, and like you just see him just pull like a starship out of the sky and like just tossed it to the ground or some shit.
Or how about this? How about he literally
Wars
takes out the
animated.
entire rebellion on like whatever planet they're stealing the Death Star plans for. He just takes out like an entire squadron by himself. Yeah, that would be cool. Anyway, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think, what you'd like to see for Rogue One. It is coming soon. We are definitely going to be having a Geek Dad Report special. We will probably try and do – I haven't talked to Ryan too much yet, but I believe we're probably going to be on the same page with this. I'd like to do a roundtable like we did for The Force Awakens. We'll get a few of our resident uber Star Wars nerds, guys who even I respect. And we'll try and get them on the show, and we'll do a roundtable, and we'll discuss in full Rogue One when it comes out because, goddammit, it's Star Wars, and we have special episodes for Star Wars. That's how it works in the world of Geek Dad Report. So anyway, let us know what you think about that. All right. You know what else? Speaking of things that are going to make a shit ton of money, Nintendo. So you guys might have heard, released a little Nintendo Classic. We've talked about on the show often. It's the little mini Nintendo or regular Nintendo that has 30 games built into it for $59.99. Well, guess what? Nintendo fucked us. They fucked us all right up the ass.
Yeah, if you thought that they were going to make like a whole bunch of them and you're going to be able just to walk into the store and go buy one, you are fucking sorely mistaken. Because Amazon, they sent out a thing tonight, email if you set to be notified. And so it was at 2 a.m. Pacific time. If you could log on to Amazon and try and get it ordered. And apparently they must have had like 5 of them because all you can see if you go into Amazon right now and look at the reviews, there's about 2,000 of them that are 1-star reviews of really pissed off people that were not able to make a purchase. My local Target had 8. It opened at 8 in the morning, and when I called at around 9, she said, yeah, there were people in line at 6:30 for 8 of these things.
Yeah, I shared a picture of my my local Fred Meyer had one. They had 5, and they sold out basically before the store opened. There was a line trying to get these.
There's one probably went to an employee that like dunk and just like put it aside because as someone who worked at Fred Meyer's going to college, yes, we did sometimes accidentally. Oh shit!
Listen, I get
it aside in the back room.
Listen, I get that you want to create a demand for your product, and Nintendo is notorious for shorting their product, and I get it. They took it in the shorts on the Wii U. They made a whole bunch and nobody bought it. I get all that, but this was something that was gonna fucking sell. And it was going to sell a lot of. The early hype for the Nintendo Classic was through the roof. And to literally only give 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units per store, it's just ridiculous. I mean, everybody wants this. They could have sold 3 million units, I bet, by Christmas. And the fact that they don't have them is just ridiculous because we live in a day and age that no one's going to pay. Well, I can't say that. People on eBay are paying crazy money, which that's just stupid to me. I'll buy one, but you can buy plenty of emulator knockoffs that have almost all the same features for $30. But
that's what Evil Chris said. Why are you guys just not getting a Raspberry Pi and just putting an emulator on it? Because I don't want the Raspberry Pi. I want
you know what? I'm lazy, and I just want to buy the one that looks like a Nintendo that has an HDMI out, and I can just plug it in and play with my kids. But honestly, Nintendo, you know what? You're the loser in this whole thing, not the consumer, because all of us are ready to share our glory days of Nintendo with our children. I mean, let's be honest. Nintendo is not what it used to be. But if the nostalgia, this was like the Stranger Things of video consoles coming back. I mean, we were going to be able to play Tecmo Bowl with our children. I was going to be able to play Super Mario Brothers with my daughter. But instead, guess what? I'm not playing any of that. And by the time that you get them back in stores, maybe I'm like, you know what? I don't really need this shit. I'll just find it on fucking, Xbox Live. I'll find something with my kids. I'll maybe go play Sonic the Hedgehog instead. But it sucks that I would love to spend my Thanksgiving weekend spend a couple hours and play some classic Nintendo games with my daughters, the stuff that we grew up on, and that irritates me that Nintendo did that.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, and I haven't seen any updates, at least from Amazon, that they even have any in stock, and it's been a week. So they're totally playing this up to get attention for the holiday buying season, and like I said, it is kind of disappointing because they could have made a fuck ton of money.
Well, and let's be honest, if they don't have these in stock before Christmas, I'm not buying one.
Yeah, I'll probably just forget.
If I can have one that I can put under the tree for my kids, I will buy one, Nintendo. But if you fuckers decide to keep playing games and not give us one before Christmas, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to get one.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Yeah, it's either someone in their marketing department really underestimated demand, or they're just trying to, fuck with people.
No, I think they're just fucking with people. I think they're trying to build up the name recognition. I think they want people to be talking about Nintendo. I know the Nintendo Switch is coming out sooner than later, so I mean, I think they want Nintendo in people's brains. Guess what, Nintendo? I have zero desire to buy the Switch. I have a lot of desire to buy the Nintendo Classic. So, take it what you want. You know what? There's a whole market for this too. The Nintendo Classic sells well. Guess what? You can sell the Super Nintendo Classic. Oh my God! I would pay a lot for a Super Nintendo Classic preloaded with 50 Super Nintendo games.
God, they had the Super Mario and the Super Nintendo was fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of games for Super Nintendo that was awesome. Final Fantasy 3. You kidding me? I'd buy it right now.
Let's see, Breath of Fire was one of my favorites.
There's so many good games. So many good games. Anyway, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. We could literally do member berries all night long for Nintendo. And I don't want to do it. Remember Zelda?
Remember Tauntauns?
Remember Tauntauns? Remember Rebels? Remember the Death Star run? All right, moving on. All right, you know what else I remember? Luke Cage.
What about him?
Apparently, it's the biggest show on Netflix in 2016.
Really?
Yeah. Not really surprising. I think Luke Cage had a giant cultural pull to pretty much everybody. Had a huge audience of people that wanted to watch Luke Cage, and it was a good series. I haven't finished it. I got 2 episodes left. So yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but parenting sometimes takes up all my time.
I'm on episode 6.
Nice.
I mean, but I'm behind on Westworld. I'm behind on Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Hashtag parenting.
Hashtag. Well, my wife and I get like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like there's no kids. We're not yelling at people.
Let's be honest, man. Media has shifted away from movies and other content to television shows. I mean, television shows can give you so much better content than you're ever going to get with a movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's the stuff that's on NBC, ABC, and CBS now. It's actually really good. I mean, we can get it. We're going to get into that stuff later, but
no, okay. When we get into it, I mean, we'll get into it in a second. Luke Cage, though, I mean, it's a good show. It's definitely a slower burn show than I'm used to. I was a bigger fan of Daredevil just because I really like the ninja aspect of Daredevil. But Luke Cage, I see why the draw's there. I see why there's a cultural thing there. Anybody from New York would love this. Anybody who ever lived in Harlem, this definitely has a Harlem feel to it. It's a good show. I enjoyed it a lot. I have a couple episodes left, but it's definitely not a show that you feel like you have to binge watch all 13. In fact, in some ways, I'm kind of enjoying watching a couple a week. It's that's the one downside of Daredevil. You felt like you had to watch it. You had to just watch the next episode, and it was over before you got a chance to enjoy it. Same with Stranger Things. That's the downside of a really good Netflix show is you just blow through it and you feel like, now what?
Well, you did it, and then it's like, well, I put a lot of energy into that really quickly, and you don't really get to digest it, as much as you would if you watch a couple episodes, think about it, come back a couple days later. So
no, that's a great way to say it. But no, if you haven't watched Luke Cage, watch it. It's a really good show. It's I put it right below Daredevil as my favorite. But Another show that Ryan kind of hinted to about ABC that is coming, I believe, next year is The Inhumans on ABC.
Which is interesting because didn't it already almost come out and it got canceled?
So, all right, so here we go. Here's a little story. If you're not familiar with the whole Inhuman saga. So basically, if you don't know what an Inhuman is, which you might if you've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daisy is an Inhuman. They've dived a lot into it. But a lot of you may not be watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which you should be because Ghost Rider this season has single-handedly turned the show into a must-watch event, and it's been fucking awesome. But that being said, so Inhumans are basically Marvel's answer to the X-Men. So Marvel doesn't have the rights to the X-Men. They have the rights to Inhumans. They're basically people that have alien DNA, and there's something called Terrigen Mist that when they're exposed to it, it opens up their powers. It changes their DNA, and it allows them to have powers. Sometimes it's a cool power. Sometimes it changes them physically, and they look terrible. They look like monsters. But a lot of times, like Daisy on the show, Daisy Quake, her ability, she can cause earthquakes. So basically, it's X-Men, but a little bit different. It's like alien X-Men.
It's basically like Forrest Gump. Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
That is the worst analogy I have ever heard. You know, I give you an A for effort. The effort was there, but it was just, it's not good. It's the look of shame, Ryan. I'm looking at you. We'll talk about this later.
I would hope you could look at me because there's not anyone else to look at. So
true. The one-man shows are just really boring. You feel a little crazy. You're just talking to yourself all day. But no. So basically the deal is with Inhumans is they were introduced on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Inhumans were supposed to be part of Marvel Phase 3. They were going to get a movie in 2020, but the movie kept getting pushed back for everything else, and a lot of people just thought, you know what? Maybe Marvel doesn't want to do the Inhumans. A lot of the rumor is that before Marvel split into two divisions, the comic books, the TVs, and the movie division, that was something that the Marvel comic books was pushing onto the movie division, an Inhumans movie, but Kevin Feige did not really feel it fit into his cinematic universe. So it just kept getting pushed and pushed. Well, I don't know if this means there's not going to be an Inhumans movie. My guess is probably not, since they've kept the television and movie universes fairly separate. But it's going to be an 8-episode kind of miniseries event. The first 2 episodes, now this is something different. This has never been done on television and movies, but the first 2 episodes are going to be shot in IMAX and shown for 2 weeks in theaters.
I didn't read that part. That's very interesting. Would you go, and then they're going to play it on TV, or is it you can only watch them in theater?
Yeah, so basically it's going to be the pilot. It's going to be a 2-hour pilot that is shot with movie cameras. I don't know what the budget of this is going to be. Would I go see it? Yeah, probably, because I'm a sucker for Marvel and I'm a sucker for comic book stuff. But they're going to have to sell me on something. If they want me to pay $15-20 to go to an IMAX screening of this, they're going to have to put some money behind the pilot. This, I don't expect maybe movie quality, but it's got to be better than just a television show pilot for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, I hope it works, because a lot of us have always talked about, we'd love to see the Game of Thrones finale be a 2-hour movie with a movie budget and just end in epic fashion. And I think something like this, if it works, definitely blends the movie and television experience into more of a,
Well, I mean, if anyone's to do it, Disney has the
money to try it.
Network and the money. I mean, Disney can buy whatever the fuck they want. So
well, and this isn't, honestly, I mean, I feel like this may be the way things are going, honestly. These shared universes. I mean, we've talked a lot about the Stephen King Dark Tower series. They're going to move forward with they have 3 movies, and they have a television show that's going to take place between the movies that flesh out the history of this show. So I think, or a history of the movie. So I definitely think that this is something that Hollywood would really like to get into, where a movie maybe opens up and makes the TV show bigger, and then it fills in some of the gaps. Because honestly, with storytelling now, I think part of the reason why the box office has been suffering every year is because television movies or storytelling has gotten so much better, and it's just better than movies. You can't tell in 2 hours a story that you can tell in 10, and that's just the facts.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the more serious actors. I mean, what was it? True Detective. I mean, it had
Matthew McConaughey. All right,
Matthew
all right, all
McConaughey.
right.
All right, and you know, it's
And Woody Harrelson.
you start to see a lot of people kind of migrating to the TV, or I mean, if not TV, then like HBO, you know, or something, you know, of that quality. So
Well, I mean, look at Marvel's
Dwayne
best villains.
Johnson
They're all
got
on.
Ballers on HBO.
Well, I mean,
So
and not just that. Look at Marvel's best villains. Kingpin, Cottonmouth, in my opinion. The Purple Man. What do these all have in common? You're able to flesh out villains on a 10-hour, 13-hour show versus a 2-hour movie where you have to tell somebody's story and you have to leave out people. So I don't know. I think TV. I think a blending of TV and movies is kind of the future of Hollywood. But we'll see. I mean, a lot of it depends if this stuff works. I don't care. I'm excited for the Inhumans. It's going to be about the royal family. So if you know anything about the Inhumans, basically they have the most powerful Inhumans, you know, are the royal family. There's kind of a hierarchy in the Inhuman world. But this is a show going to be about them, and it's going to be coming to ABC, I believe, either late next year or early 2018. So obviously, as we hear more about it, we will let you guys know. There's no details other than it has been announced that it's coming to ABC. So does this mean Daisy's going to be in it? I don't know. From what I'm hearing, that it's going to be all new original characters, and they will not be blending any of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Inhumans, which I believe is a mistake. Hopefully, they will rectify at some point, but we'll see.
yeah.
Speaking of Disney, apparently they might buy Hulu. They might buy Netflix.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't like that. I love Disney.
Like
I love
what Netflix has been doing. So
well, I love Disney and I love what they've been doing. I love that they bought Marvel and Star Wars and they've been doing amazing things with it. But I'll be honest, I didn't like the Time Warner buyout of Time Warner AT&T buyout of Warner Brothers. I don't like this.
yeah.
The more monopolies you have, the less creativity you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and Netflix is. I mean, they even going to put like $14 billion some shit into like their original properties. So, I mean, would you get Stranger Things if Disney was in charge?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Disney's always been really good at allowing the studios to breathe and continue to do what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, had Disney bought Netflix before they started making original shows, probably wouldn't have gotten original shows from Netflix. Probably just would have continued what they're doing and streaming stuff. I feel like I like choices and I like companies to stay separate. I don't blame Netflix for selling. I'm sure Disney, if they buy them, is going to be some epic dollar amount. And a lot of people are going to get really rich. You know, God knows if Disney came and said, hey, we want to buy the Geek Dad Report for $10 million, we'd probably sell today immediately. Right. But, you know, it's hell, if they said we wanted it for $10,000, we'd probably sell immediately. But
that'll buy us a new studio equipment.
Yeah, we can start the old man report, the nerd man report. But how about the nerd father report? There we go. No, but you know, so I don't blame them for doing their own thing, but it does. I personally don't like it. There's too many monopolies already, and I think that we as a consumer benefit when everything isn't owned by a couple large entities.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see some even cable networks, because streaming. I think Netflix has shown that you can still do well as a subscription-only service, and as long as you have good quality shows.
I will say that if Disney buys them, is willing to bring the same things that they brought to their Disney Anywhere app, where you can download any show to your device as well as you own it, I am totally for it.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
So I don't know. We'll see. This is just a rumor. It has not been confirmed yet that they are purchasing it. Apparently, it's just that Disney has kind of been reaching out the feelers to see if that's something you want to do. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll let you guys know as we find out more information.
Do it.
So anyway, we've rambled a lot this show. So we got a last couple stories, and we'll knock them out. So we got a lot of content still to cover. So we'll just bust them out real quick. Jessica Chastain is apparently signed on to play Painkiller Jane in the new Painkiller Jane movie. So anybody's not familiar with that, she is I believe a police officer who was captured, tortured, and then left for dead. And then she later develops powers where she can regenerate any limb or anything on her body. So basically she's like Wolverine, and she becomes a total badass. So it's a cool comic book. I think it's really cool that we're getting major Oscar type actresses and actors to play these characters. It gives legitimacy to the
Have they said what the platform was?
to the platform. Thank you. And I think it's great. So anyway, more on that. I believe it's coming out late next year, so it should be pretty cool. Westworld, an amazing show that I still can't fucking talk about because Ryan's not caught up. Big episode this last week. Major shit is happening. I'm going to do, if Ryan hasn't finished it, fuck him. I'm going to do a Westworld Season 1 wrap-up show at some point. Just a single show. It's going to be all about Westworld, and you can talk to me about Westworld or just watch it.
I'm on episode 5. I'm on number 5. Point,
it's awesome, and it has been renewed for Season 2. The downside is that because of the scope of the show and how expensive it is to make and how big the productions are, it may not air until 2018, which is not really that a surprise. Considering Game of Thrones, HBO is increasingly doing these massive productions, and they are taking longer than a normal show to do. I'm okay with it. It sucks we have to wait, but if we get the epic scale that we are getting with Game of Thrones and Westworld type shows, I will gladly wait a year and a half for these because they are amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely make it worth it in the long run. I mean, it does suck, but I'll talk about the other show later that I want to talk about.
Yeah, and if you want to know how Game of Thrones, if Westworld is doing ratings-wise, it's pulling in almost 12 million viewers per episode, which is actually better than the first season of Game of Thrones. So it is a massive hit for HBO, so it is probably not going to be going away anytime soon, which is good news because I feel like this is a world that has a larger story to tell, and I cannot
because everybody wants to go there. Every single person alive today would be like, yes,
I'm going to go bang robots and murder people. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
We're in Trump America. Everybody would do that anyway. We're going to become Westworld. All right, moving on. No politics tonight. Let's see. Last bit of news we got. Green Hornet is getting rebooted again, but this time for Paramount Pictures. Whoopity-doo. No one gives a shit. And let's see. Finally, Carrie Fisher is releasing her book. If you don't know who Carrie Fisher is, well, I don't tell you. She played Princess Leia, amongst other things.
Yeah. And she's freaking hilarious.
And she's hilarious. And if you don't follow her on Twitter, you should, because she is just this crazy lady who's awesome.
She has no
released her book. I forget what it's called. It's got some kind of like the princess, not Princess Diaries, but something like that. Anyway, in her book, there's a juicy excerpt about her torrid affair with co-star Harrison Ford during the original Star Wars shoot. So apparently for 3 months, her and Harrison were getting it on hardcore, which is a little on the dirty side considering he was almost 34 and she was only 19, and he was married. You old dog Harrison,
She was super young. So
I would judge, but it's Hollywood, man. I don't know how any marriage survives in Hollywood. Motherfuckers are just banging each other left and right. It's like a nonstop weird orgy. I've seen LA Confidential.
Sorry, Brangelina.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know who's crazy in that relationship. I have my thoughts. Anyway, we're moving on. So anyway, if you want to know about Harrison Ford and Princess Leia doing the dirty, I suggest you check out her book when it releases, I think, later next month or early next month. Anyway, coming out soon. Yeah. Check it out. Moving on. Let's see what we got here. Trailers. There was a lot of trailers released this week, and we are not going to dive in too much into them because we're running short on time. We still have some other stuff we want to talk about. But we are going to do our rapid reaction piece that everyone loves. I can't honestly say that anyone says they've loved it, but I love it.
I loved all the trailers. Honestly.
I meant the reaction piece. I meant our part. I don't care about the trailers, right? I'm talking about our show. I'm not talking about the trailers. I'm saying I love the segment of the show where we give our rapid responses and reactions to the trailers.
You love this. I was checking out the notes. There's still nobody's talking in the chat.
It's all right. We don't have a lot of viewers tonight. You know, when you do a live show, sometimes the people just don't come. Sometimes it's like that. That's really late night with your wife where you've drank too much, and everyone's kind of participating, but no one's really there.
Yeah. I don't know. Never had that.
Me either. Ever. Not once.
Yeah.
60% of the time, it works 100% of the time, Ryan.
Very true.
All right, moving on. Rapid reaction. So, if you're not familiar with rapid reactions, basically I say the trailer and then Ryan gives me his first thoughts and then I give my first thoughts. And we try and pin it down into like 1 or 2 sentences so we can move on quickly. All right, you ready? There was a lot of trailers. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trailers. And we're going to give rapid responses on all of them. So the first one, the really big one, was not the first one on our list. The biggest one, which is officially the most viewed trailer of all time in the first 24 hours, beating Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and that new 50 Shades of Weirdo movie that's coming out. Beauty and the Beast, the live-action remake of Disney's classic. Ryan.
My reaction is
yes.
My daughter was sitting next to me, and she went and put on her bell dress and said, "We're going to see this. It's 2 days before my birthday." So pretty much it looks great. And I like Beauty and the Beast growing up, so
that was 6 sentences. That was not part of the rapid reaction platform. It was rapid, but it was not.
Okay, why don't you set the bar?
All right, I'm gonna set the bar. Ryan, why don't you ask me what I thought about it?
What did you think about it, Brian?
Amazing, goosebumps. Not sure exactly how a 31-ish-year-old man is so goddamn excited to see a Beauty and the Beast live-action remake. Amazing. Can't wait.
I think you were just slightly like 40 words, like maybe 10 words less.
Yeah, but I did it in 3 sentences.
Whatever.
Okay, next one. You're going to get better. I can feel it. You're going to get better. All right. Next trailer. Kong, Skull Island. Go.
Giant monkey destroying stuff. 2 thumbs up.
I like it. Okay, now you got to say, and what'd you think?
Okay, and how about you, Brian?
Fucking can't wait for King Kong versus goddamn Godzilla, and it's got Samuel L. Jackson, and there's going to be a scene where he's be like, "Fuck this monkey," and it eats him. Super awesome. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next up, Scarlett Johansson's live-action remake of the anime classic Ghost in the Machine released its first trailer, and what did Ryan think about it?
I thought it was Ghost in the Shell.
God damn it. Whatever. All right, Ghost in the Shell. Sorry, anime fans. My fucking bad. Start that again. Fine. God damn, you're just... All right.
If we're going to do this, might as well do it.
No, you're right. I was wrong. I'll admit that on the air. And because it's recorded, it's the only time you'll ever hear it. I was wrong. I admitted it.
I mean...
You need, like, Ode to Joy playing in the background.
Yeah.
Fucking confetti, balloons. All right. So the Scarlett Johansson remake of the anime.
November 17th.
Hardcore anime fans, and I know Chris would be screaming at me if I did not say that I was wrong. So Scarlett Johansson just released the trailer for Ghost in the Shell. And Ryan, what did you think about it?
So hot. Yes. What about you, Brian?
Oh, man, that nude camouflage. Yeah. I thought it looked great. Looked very Warshawski-ish. I've never seen Ghost in the Shell, obviously, because I call it Ghost in the Machine. And
neither have I.
I think it looks cool. I'm going to go see it because I like Scarlett Johansson and I like weird shit.
I might watch the anime before I go see it.
I'm going to watch it after I go see it.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. If you haven't seen it yet, Chris, if you're listening to us, we want you to let us know. Should we see the anime before we go see the live action?
Dude, he's a hardcore anime fan. Of course he's going to say yes.
Yeah, and we're just trying to get him to come out and say something.
Oh, he says shit all the time. All right.
Yeah.
Chris is never short of words.
Never.
All right, moving on. Next trailer.
3-hour-long podcast.
Animated rated R movies continue with an upcoming Justice League Dark, which is the, I don't know, a lot of heroes like Constantine, Swamp Thing, Zatanna. And personally, I thought it looked, I'm going to tell you in a second. Ryan, what did you think it looked like?
Dark and very Justice League and dark Oh, it's so great. How can you not want to watch a rated R fucking animated DC Comics movie? Yes.
Ryan, I would silently be shaking my head judging you, but that's not how the Hangouts work. I have to talk to make it look to my face, but now it's looking at me. Yes, it looked very Justice League-y and dark. Now, I think it looks really cool. I don't know why it's rated R. I'm guessing just for violent content. It definitely seemed very violent.
There'll be a lot of blood.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of blood. No, I'm excited. I kind of like how they put in Batman, but I also think it's kind of a cop-out. I don't think they're quite 100% committed to just the Justice League Dark team, but I think it looks cool. As always, DC's animation is always top-notch, and I think this is going to be another great movie. So that comes out soon, and best believe me and Ryan will have a full review for you on the Geek Dad Report. All right, let's see what we have left. So they also had a nice, cool, awesome, super. Can't say adjectives tonight, so I'm just gonna let it go. The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Legend of Tomorrow. Jesus Christ, we gotta end this show. I can't fucking talk. The Arrow, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, Supergirl crossover is coming soon, and they finally have the first trailer out for it. So Ryan, what did you think about it?
I think it looked super crossover-ific.
Oh,
and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone together. And it seems like they're not going to be, everyone's going to get along, and there might be a little arguing. And Supergirl will probably come and kick everyone's ass. So looking forward to seeing how the Dominators take on everyone. So, what about you, Brian?
Well, funny you should mention that.
You're not caught up on Supergirl, so
I'm not caught up on Supergirl, but I will watch the crossover. Apparently, the Supergirl episode is going to be a standalone, and like the last 5 minutes is going to start the crossover. So, if you're not caught up, I still think it'll be all right. I think it looks grand in scale. It looks like a larger universe type crossover where, as much as the Arrow and Flash crossovers were a lot of fun, it still felt like episodes of Arrow and Flash. And so I think this is going to feel like more like a DC Universe crossover, and it has that feel to it, at least in the trailer. I'm excited for it. They've said it's going to be kind of a movie event type thing, and I'm looking forward to it. It definitely looks like that way, and I don't care. All these shows are fun, even though Legend of Tomorrow is kind of stupid at times. I enjoy Supergirl a lot. I'm looking forward to her first interaction with all these characters. I think it'll be great, even though they'll have to drag her into the universe. And then at the end of it, they're going to send her back to her, her, I don't know, Earth 2 or Earth 1 or whatever the fucking Earth she's on. But I think it'll be fun. I'm excited for it. I think it looked fun, like all the CW, DC shows. So. All right. Lastly, we have 3, so we're going to give 3 super fast rapid responses on these ones. Also, television shows. Expanse Season 2 on Sci-Fi Channel released its first trailer.
Best looking sci-fi show on TV right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. It is the best. I think it's the best sci-fi show on television, honestly, right now. It is. If you haven't watched Season 1, you can catch up on Sci-Fi. It is amazing. Season 2, I believe, kicks off in February, so you got a couple months, but check it out. It looks great. Another Sci-Fi Channel show that I've seen. I know Ryan hasn't seen, but he hasn't seen the trailer, so I'm still going to ask for his reaction. Ryan, what was your reaction to Sci-Fi's The Magicians?
This is what I will take off my headphones so that you can have a proper reaction if you'd like, and then point at me when you're ready for me to listen again.
All right. Take your headphones off now. All right, here we go. So the Season 2 trailer of The Magicians looks amazing if you've seen Season 1. If you have not seen Season 1, don't watch the trailer because it gives away massive spoilers. So I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to say what the trailer is about. So this is a spoiler. In 3, 2, 1. The Season 2 trailer takes place almost entirely in Fillory. It looks like everyone is back who you maybe didn't know if they were dead or not at the end of Season 2. And it looks awesome. If you haven't watched The Magicians, watch it. It's basically like Harry Potter, Narnia, and just Harry Potter and Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings, rated R, thrown into a TV show, and it's fucking awesome. So check it out. All right.
You're good?
Yeah, we're good. Right. But yeah, definitely check out The Magicians. Great show. You can catch up all the unedited All the unedited episodes of the show are right now currently on sci-fi.com, which, trust me, is awesome. There's a lot of bad language, sex, and nudity, and very adult content in this. Watch it. The first 3 or 4 episodes are kind of rough, but I'm telling you, the back 6, once you get into the show, are so good. The show really hits its stride for its first season. I cannot wait for season 2. So, okay, lastly, the last little trailer we have for you guys, and we'll take a second to talk about, is The Librarians. TNT's The Librarians is a show based on the very popular made-for-TV TNT movies, The Librarian, with Noah Wiley playing almost a, I don't know, kind of Indiana Jones / super nerd of a magical protector of a magical library. Yeah. Where he searches for artifacts and magic in the world.
Yeah, it's such a guilty pleasure show.
Oh yeah,
and that's why my kids got into the movies, and we like the show. So
yeah, same here. There's not much to say. The trailer, it looks just like the season. It's Noah Wiley, now that he's done with Falling Skies and a few of his other commitments, is on the show much more than he was in the first season. Just watch it. It's a fun show. Like Ryan said, it's definitely my guilty pleasure show. It's dumb. But it's a good dumb. It's a fun dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a fun dumb. I mean, we need a show where you can just,
You know why I like The Librarians? Because after watching The Walking Dead with my wife every Sunday, I'm super stressed because that show is intense beyond belief. So I sit down after that show, I grab some ice cream, and I turn on The Librarians, and I laugh, I giggle, and I let all that stupid stress that The Walking Dead creates go, and I go to bed happy.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Watch The Librarians. It's on TNT. I believe the first couple of seasons are on TNT.com. You can check them out, or on demand, watch them. I'm sure they're on Amazon or Hulu or Netflix. Watch them. They're a lot of fun. And even if you haven't seen the past shows, hit me or Ryan up. We'd be more than happy to fill you in. It's not a show that there's a ton of backstory that you have to know everything. It's just a fun show. So check it out. All right, moving on. Kind of covered all our TV time. Do we want to take we have a couple of new segments that we're going to try and roll out for the show here going forward. But I don't know. We don't have a name for our TV segment. We want to give you guys more TV analysis going forward. Did you want to talk? Did we talk about everything, or do you want to take a second to talk about The Walking Dead?
Let's talk about The Walking Dead, and then we can move on to the next stuff because we're pushing our schedule. So
yeah, no, we're definitely pushing our schedule. Okay, so let's see here. TV time. I did want to give a shout out to South Park before we talk Walking Dead. If you are not caught up on South Park, maybe you gave up, maybe you haven't. South Park this season has gone straight genre, where it's each episode ties into the next one, where every episode's not standalone anymore. And it's all been massively political this season. If you are living in America, you know there's some crazy shit that's been happening in the last year and a half, and South Park has tapped into it, and I think given us the best season maybe ever.
I didn't start watching it until after the election, and if you're like me and you do that, every episode is absolutely mind-blowing, considering like what they knew that nobody else fucking knew, and just predicted going out in an arc, and it's like, holy fuck, how did these guys?
Well, and they aired an episode the day after the election
so that they could have a better show.
Well, and they aired an episode the day after the election where they changed it. Apparently, rumor was that they'd shot a Hillary episode, and like all of America were completely stunned when Donald fucking Supreme Leader Trump won, and so they changed the episode, and it's just a credit to their ingenuity and ability to adapt on the fly, because it is one of the better episodes. South Park this season has been on point. If you have not caught up, please catch up. I feel like the last couple episodes are going to be unbelievably epic.
Mr. Garrison running for president.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Garrison won. Is now Donald Trump.
Lose.
Anyway, watch South Park. It's great. I want to give a quick shout out to South Park. So, I want to spend a couple seconds. Now that we're caught up, what do you feel so far about the season, and what do you think going forward?
It's kind of interesting to see Rick in the position that he's in. Because he's always been like, the alpha, and he's always kind of...
He's still the alpha, but he has somebody else who's really just chopping his nuts and banging on his balls at every turn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the thing that Negan says at the very end of the episode, that, he's like, I just put my dick in your mouth. and you said thank you. And basically just the way Negan is on the show, we needed a bad guy that was like him. I mean, he's a bad guy. He's so much better than the governor, because the governor was kind of like yeah, he was kind of crazy and
well, you didn't like him. Like, he was never likable.
Yeah, but like you can kind of like be like, you know, I would kind of maybe be on
that guy.
He's a big dick, and you know, but I would kind of maybe be on his side.
You would. You know, but no, that was to your point. No, you're right. I think it's nice to see a little change in The Walking Dead and how they do their villains. And honestly, Rick became such kind of a dictator the last 5 seasons. It's kind of nice to see him get knocked down a peg. I did like the fact that Rick isn't broken. You know, he's still like, there's so many times he wanted to smash Negan's head in with that bat, and he almost did. And it was nice to see that even though Rick knows that he can't beat Negan, he's not broken. He's not beaten. He's still got the fight in him. He just knows he can't win. So
I mean, he's hiding Maggie. You know, he didn't let Negan know that Maggie's still alive. He makes her like Negan thinks she's dead.
That was fucked up, by the way. Negan's like, "Where's Maggie?"
Yeah. He's like, I was hoping to get to know her a little better.
God, he's such a fucker. God. I never thought I'd like the Preacher. That episode completely redeemed the Preacher.
Yeah, he was. Oh my God, he was so fucking annoying those first 2 seasons.
Well, dude, it's like he's not afraid of death anymore. He's just like, yeah, whatever, Negan. He's literally one of the few characters who's not afraid of him. And speaking of characters that aren't afraid of Negan, I do like that Rosita and a few other characters are really like, fuck Negan. You know what? Fuck this guy.
Yeah, but you know something's gonna happen. They're gonna fuck up, and it's just gonna like mess everything up.
Well, no. From what I've heard, this season ends with all-out warfare. I mean, clearly they are looking to unite the Hill, the Kingdom, and Alexandria and fight Negan. It's coming. And from what I like, what do you think about the way that they're setting up? Each episode is like one storyline, and they're kind of building all these different storylines so that they can kind of integrate them later.
Yeah, because it does seem like they connected. Now they connected. You know, Daryl's back with. Well, he's not back with the group, but you know,
each episode feels almost like a little mini movie, and I kind of like the way they're doing this. I feel like this season's been extended to 16 episodes, and I feel like the first maybe 10 episodes are going to be a lot of setup, like what we've seen.
Yeah,
where things are going.
I haven't seen what the previews are for the next episode, so I don't know who's getting the main focus.
So the next episode is the Hill. It's Maggie.
Oh, okay.
Maggie and Jesus.
Should be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I accidentally was on Wiki because I looked up King.
King Ezekiel.
Ugh. And I was like, oh yeah, I just kind of wanted to like see, you know, like just kind of learn like something really quick, and then I accidentally just went down the rabbit hole. And
well, yeah, I'm a little angry just because of the fact that I went to I read this link on there. It was an interview with the character who plays Rosita, and she was talking about her character and where her story goes and stuff, and they just jump into her death, which apparently also coincides with the War of the Whispers, which is what the current comic book line is, which also is like 9 people. 9 of the main characters all die. And I'm like, oh, motherfucker, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Walking Dead changes up their deaths, but I mean, at some point when the War of the Whispers finally comes, probably season 8, you're going to get about 4 or 5 cast members who are in one fell swoop. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, and I know all about that because I read about it on Wiki. So
we'll talk about that offline, so we don't want to spoil it for anybody who's not had a chance to watch it.
If you don't want to accidentally ruin the show and you're not reading the comic books, don't go read up on the characters.
Yeah,
because that shit will just suck you right in, and then
and the show is increasingly mimicking the comics as it goes. But anyway, let us know what you think about The Walking Dead. If you guys are enjoying it, I am already enjoying the season. I think it's kind of something a little different, and I'm very much enjoying the season so far of The Walking Dead. So let us know.
It's been fun,
and we'll come up with a cool, catchy name for our TV time next week. If you have a show that you'd like to hear me and Ryan discuss, just let us know. We'd be more than happy to talk about it on here. I know Phil this week Faithful 50 member Phil wanted us to talk about Mars, the new show on History Channel. So I recorded it, and I'll try and watch it before our next show. Maybe we can talk about that. Okay, so we want to start talking about weekend box offices. We want to let you guys know about what movies are coming, what movies are out, and how they're doing. But we are running really late, so we'll just say that Doctor Strange is kicking a lot of ass, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them are coming out this weekend. So let us know if you're going to go see it. But we will try and streamline our show going forward. But that's one of the segments we will be talking about. So let us know if you'd like to know more about the box office every week, and we will talk about it. News to say, like I said, Doctor Strange making a shit ton of money. Another segment we want to introduce to you guys is called our NFL Cover 2. Me and Ryan love sports, and we want to talk more about football and fun things going forward. But like we said, we were already running short on time. So one of the things, instead of talking about all the games we experienced this week and how great they were, we do want to talk about the games coming up and give you our predictions on each one. So if you're playing fantasy football or if you like to bet, give us our little insight on it. So we're going to run through the games real fast since, like I said, we don't want to take too much time on this. And we'll just tell you who we think we're going to win, and maybe going forward we'll spend a little more time on this segment. But as far as tonight goes, we're just going to tell you the school, who we think is going to win, and maybe a player or two of fantasy that you should definitely start. So, all right, first up this week we have
the Saints. Well, we can't
talk about the Saints and Panthers right now. The Panthers are kicking the shit out of the Saints, so we'll move on to our next.
We'll skip that one. And for the people that are on bye this week, it's the Falcons on bye, Broncos, the Jets nobody gives a fuck about, and Chargers. So
which sucks if you have Julio Jones in both your fantasy leagues.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that blows.
Not me though. Fuck. I know my wife.
Oh my God, Luke Kuechly was carted off the field. Ugh.
Yeah. But let's see. So the other game, these are all the 1:00 games. The Steelers at the Browns. I'm going with Pittsburgh. I mean, the Browns are 0-10. If you can't beat the Browns this season, there's something really wrong with you.
Oh man. So real quick update on the Saints Carolina game. The Carolina Panthers have the ball. They're at the Saints second eight. Carolina is 35. The Saints have used all their timeouts, and they are down by 3. So technically, they might get the ball back with 30 seconds left if they can stop them to get a field goal to tie the game. I have Mike Thomas in that game, so hopefully he catches a few more passes because I need some points. Anyway, moving on. All right. I'm with Ryan. Steelers are going to kick the shit out of the Browns. If you have Roethlisberger or Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown, I suggest playing all of them.
Yeah.
Or even Cleveland Brown players. I feel like that could be a high-scoring game because neither team has any defense.
Yeah, the Steelers defense hasn't been able to do much, but it's kind of if you have fantasy football and your team and you have anyone playing the Browns, play those guys.
Yep. All right, next up, Ravens-Cowboys. I'm going to say Cowboy. You know what? Fuck the Cowboys. I'm going to go Ravens this week. Cowboys are due for a letdown.
You think so?
Yeah. They're 7-1. They got a bunch of rookies playing.
I'm going with the Cowboys. I mean, as much of a painful game it was to watch last week, I think it's solidified that they're the real deal this year. If you have Prescott or Elliott on your team, I mean, they've just been, especially Elliott last week, racked up a shit pile of points. So, I mean, they're the real deal. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys on this one because, you know what? Fuck my division rivals. So
yeah, I don't blame you. Cowboys are probably the play. I'm just going I'm going with the gut instinct. I think the Ravens are a little hot right now. They always tend to play well. Veteran team, good defense, don't seem to give up a lot of plays. I think they could find a way to beat the Cowboys, or maybe I'm just hoping so because I need the Seahawks to win the number 1 seed in the NFC West, or NFC East, or NFC. Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving on. Also, you already covered all the fantasy. Ravens have no fantasy players, so don't play any of them. Cowboys, if you have Ezekiel Elliott, play him.
Prescott.
Maybe that's probably it. Yeah, Prescott, maybe Dez Bryant. I wouldn't play either one of those. Ezekiel's the strong play there. Jacksonville at the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go with the Lions. Jacksonville blows.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions as well. I mean, they're hot. They are obviously the better team right now, and they might win the NFC North. So or is
Oh
he
man!
not? So
All right, New Orleans. This is a live update,
yeah.
people. New Orleans it's 4th and 8. Carolina took a timeout. What the fuck is that all about? There's 28 seconds left on the clock. New Orleans is down by 3, and Carolina is going to punt it.
Oh my God!
Oh man, Drew Brees time. I got Mike Thomas. Come on, Mike Thomas. Give me a 60-yard touchdown. All right, anyway, moving on. Lions, there's literally, I don't know, Stafford's been having a hell of a year. If you want to play fantasy with him, go right ahead. Julius Thomas, the tight end for Jacksonville. The Lions are one of the worst cover teams in the NFL when it comes to tight ends. Probably a good fantasy play. I have Eric Ebron, the tight end for the Lions. He's been getting a ton of targets since he's come back from his injury. So fantasy-wise, maybe play one of those two. I'm definitely playing Ebron. If you have anybody else you want to play, let me know. As far as anybody else for the Lions, I wouldn't trust anybody. Maybe Theo Reddick. He catches a lot out of the backfield, but we'll see. Jacksonville's actually got a surprisingly decent defense. So, but I think we're both going with the Lions on that one. Titans, Colts, man. This is kind of a pick 'em for me. Both teams are pretty good offenses, awful defenses, and a terrible division. So
I'm going to go with Titans.
I'm going to probably go – you know what? I'm going to go Titans too, just because I think DeMarco Murray is having a great season as a running back. Mariota is actually turning out to be a pretty decent quarterback, and they are scoring a ton of points. Andrew Luck is great, but literally he is the only person on that team who has any talent. So
he's like when Peyton Manning, like his first couple years, and they just had Peyton Manning.
Yeah, so if you have Andrew Luck, play him. If you have Mariota, which I do, but I also have Big Ben, so I'm going to go with Big Ben. But if you have Mariota or DeMarco Murray, play all three of those players if possible. They're going to get you some points this week. Next game up is Bills and Bengals. Fuck, I'm going
to go with the Bills. I got McCoy on that team for my fantasy, and he's been doing pretty well this year.
Yeah, the Bills are surprisingly good. I was actually surprised when I watched them play Seattle. They were much more talented than I gave them credit for. They are in a must-win situation, but then again, so are the Bengals, who have a massively talented team. But I think they're just imploding. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why either. I mean, it seems like everyone's kind of doubling up. What I've been reading is that they've been playing usually the strong safety or free safety has been playing kind of back on AJ Green, and then they're kind of doing man-to-man coverage. So they're basically getting two guys on AJ Green and Andrew Dalton. They just really have a lot of other options, and they don't really have a running game. So
and AJ Green is amazing, but yeah, you're right. They don't have much of a running game. They lost Mohamed Sanu in free agency, and they don't have a solid number 2. So AJ Green is really all they have. So I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say the Bills, man. I think the Bills are a pretty good team, and I think they're going to take care of business in Cincinnati, and they're going to send Cincinnati home, and they're going to be out of the playoffs after this. But I hope. But if you have AJ Green or McCoy, I suggest starting both of those two. Every week they get big numbers regardless of their matchup. So next up, Buccaneers at Chiefs. This is going to be an easy one for me. The Chiefs are red hot. Tampa Bay is not.
Yeah, if you're trying to go for like a over/under kind of thing, you can pick Tampa Bay, but no, you can't go against the Chiefs right now.
Yeah, and I would not pick any player in fantasy. I have Doug Martin. He's going to be riding my bench because I do not know if he's completely healthy, or what he's going to do. And the Kansas City Chiefs have a really good defense. I would stay away from all fantasy players if possible in this game. And
except for the Chiefs defense. If you have their defense, play them.
I would not even do that. The Buccaneers have been able to score points, but Ryan says Chiefs defense. I say stay away from everybody in fantasy, and we're both going with the Chiefs. All right, Bears Giants. The Bears, we're going to make this quick. The Bears are absolute hot garbage. The Giants aren't much better, but they have Odell Beckham, who you'll play in fantasy, and the Bears have Cutler, who is one of the worst quarterbacks in history. So, Giants.
And the Bears have literally no secondary. I mean, it's basically just going to be Eli Manning tossing it to Odell Beckham all game long. I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
That's what it's going to be. You got a live update?
Oh, live update. So the good news is that my receiver caught a bomb, and I got like 6 points in fantasy. The bad news for Saints fans is that they lost.
Aww.
23-20, the final.
Good try.
Good try. The other good news, the other new good update is that I'm playing my friend who has Cam Newton, and he only got him 19 points.
Nice.
Against New Orleans. In your face.
That's the shittiest fucking defense.
Yeah, I had Mario Thomas.
Are we both picking Giants on that one?
All right, moving on. Let's see here. Last couple games we got real quick. We'll knock them out fast because we are way past our time here. Let's see. Cardinals, Vikings. God, the Vikings have no offense and their defense is struggling. I'm going to say probably Cardinals, as much as I hate them.
The Cardinals are the same thing, though. I mean,
you know what? I'm calling for the upset special because I hate the fucking Cardinals. Go Vikings. I'm going to say Vikings are going to win in a 12-9 shootout in Minnesota.
Man, I don't know. I'm going to just to go against you because we have so many that we're just picking the same one. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals just to fuck up your division.
All right, fine, whatever. I'm going to say play no one in fantasy except for unless you have the Cardinals or Vikings defenses. Feel free to play both of them.
Yeah, because no one's offense is going to do shit this game.
Yeah, Dolphins, Rams. Ugh. This is my lock of the week. Go Dolphins because the Rams haven't scored a touchdown in like 8 weeks.
Yeah, and if you have the Rams kicker, by all means play him. He's been doing really well.
I would play no one in this game. If maybe the Rams defense.
The Dolphins. The Rams have a good run stop.
The Rams have an amazing defense. I would play no one from.
I don't know.
Miami.
I have a Jahi. Who
don't start him. You're going to be in for a long, sad day. I'm calling it right now, Ryan. Trust me on this.
I picked him up in week 2 because Adrian Foster. I picked him up on a whim in the draft because if he stayed healthy, he was going to be great. Didn't stay healthy.
Don't do it.
A Jahi.
All right. Well, I'm calling it lock of the week.
He did great 1 week. I dumped him, and then he did 400 fucking yards the next week. I picked him back up, and now.
Ryan, we have a hard out in 13 minutes, so if you want to keep talking about your crappy fantasy team.
Fine. Patriots and the 49ers.
Patriots. They had a devastating loss, an absolutely season heart-splitting, devastating loss to the amazing, awesome, super fantastic Seattle Seahawks last week. And the Patriots are going to take out all their anger and aggression on the poor 49ers who have no defense, no running game, and no receivers. This is going to be a one-sided molly-whooping. Play anybody and everybody from New England and play no one from San Francisco.
Yes. And I know who Brian's going to pick in the Eagles at the Seahawks.
This may surprise you. I say bet all your money on Seattle. No, I think this is going to be a very tough game. I think this is going to be one of those ones where you see like final score 21-17. The Eagles actually have a pretty good team coming to town. If they were playing in Philadelphia, I'd say, be a pick 'em. But I do think Seattle's really tough to beat at home. I think we definitely found our offense, but Philadelphia does have the type of defense that can give the Seahawks trouble with our young, inexperienced offensive line. So do not expect the offensive firepower that you got last week from Seattle. I think it's going to be a much closer game. That being said, I do think Seattle's a better team. They proved it. They went on the road in a short week across country and beat the best team in the NFL in their own stadium. So Seattle is definitely one of the best teams in the NFL this year, and I say they're going to beat the Eagles. I'm going to say 21-17. And if you have any fantasy players, I would say Jimmy Graham, CJ Procise he's now the new starter in Seattle, and he catches a ton of balls out of the backfield. So if you're looking for a running back in a PPR league, CJ Procise. I'm not just saying that because I'm starting him this week. But I say he's great. Doug Baldwin and Jimmy Graham. For the Eagles, I don't know, nobody.
I'm going to say this is going to be the big upset of the week. And
show's over. Show's over. Done. Go home.
The Eagles are going to pull it out. This is my upset of the week.
Oh, fucking whatever. You know what? Next game. I'd say it's my upset of the week, but the Packers suck, so it's not really an upset that they're going to go into Washington and get their ass kicked.
I'm going to go with the Packers.
Oh, shocker.
Just because.
Your wife won't sleep with you if you say no? Is that what's going on here? Yeah, whatever. All right. Ryan's going Packers because he's too loyal to his wife. And I'm going to say Washington because I refuse to say their racist, description of their name. They're Washington Native Americans. Have a high-flying offense. They're on a streak right now. They're actually a pretty good team, and I think they're going to beat the Packers, who, without Clay Matthews and Shields, have no defense whatsoever. And even Aaron Rodgers cannot bail them out at this point.
God, he just looks so just pissed off all year.
Well, yeah. His receivers suck. They have no running game. They just signed Christian Michael with the Hawks cut because you just wait. When do you see Christian Michael run? He trips over air. It's going to be great. You're going to love it.
So the Monday night game is the Texans at the Raiders.
In Mexico City, which means I have no idea how this game's going to go.
Yeah, I was going to say the Raiders because the Raiders are amazingly 7-2 somehow, and they just been pulling wins out of their asses. So
Yeah.
hopefully Raider Nation stays home and does not go to Mexico City because I don't know if that shit's gonna fly there. So
Well, do it before they build the wall. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, they gotta be able to get home. So
Yeah. Well, I would say I'm gonna say the Raiders are gonna win this. The Texans aren't very good offensively. They just have nothing. I mean, Osweiler's garbage. Somehow they managed to win last week with him throwing under 100 yards. I think it's terrible. But
they're 6-3. How are they 6-3?
I don't know because they have good defense and they play in one of the worst divisions in football.
Yeah, but they don't have J.J. Watt. I mean, he's whatever.
Well, listen, I have Amari Cooper on my fantasy team, so I'm going to say the Raiders are going to win, and Amari Cooper is going to have 380 yards receiving with 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, I have him as well, and I agree.
All right, moving on. All right, let us know what you think about our little NFL pick'em. If you think it's fun, we'll continue to do it. If not, well, fuck you. We'll continue to do it anyway because me and Ryan like talking football. But all right, moving on. Faithful 50. We'll make it fast. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, remember at the beginning of the show when we're like, we're going to make this show short, and then we did the opposite.
Yeah. No, we don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So Jeff from Washington, who was in the show earlier today, said you can only put 3 foods on your Thanksgiving plate. What are they? And I did verify that gravy does not constitute as a food. It is an add-on. So.
All right. Okay.
Brian,
what's
going on your plate?
All right. So 3 things going on my plate on Thanksgiving are pie, potatoes, and turkey.
I'm going to go with turkey, mashed potatoes, and stuffing, and then just getting like a giant vat of gravy and just.
And I'm going to take mine one step further and say pumpkin pie because I only eat pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. I cannot stand pumpkin pie any other time, but I love it on Thanksgiving. I don't know why. Kind of weird. But that's, yeah. The gravy, lots of gravy. And on my pie, I'm putting a gallon of whipped cream.
Mm-hmm. Just like, and then you just get like 2 of them and just spray them.
I want so much that you can't actually see the pie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right.
See, we had Phil from Washington.
And hey, real quick, a lot of people answered that question on our Facebook page. We love to see you guys all interact and answer your own questions. I think it's great. But let us know what you guys think the ultimate Thanksgiving dinner is. Best believe, even though we're not going to have a show, partially why we're having a supersized show tonight, next week, we will be doing some posts and we'll probably put some fun Q&As out there asking you guys how your Thanksgiving was and, stuff like this. Let us know what you had for dinner, and feel free to send us pictures of your dinner. We'll post them on the Facebook page, and we'll all do a dinner smorgasbord. Whoever's got the best dinner gets a gold star and maybe Arrow Season 4, which one of these days we'll give away.
Let's see. So Phil, we didn't even talk about the Thanksgiving games. Phil asked that we're getting 3 shitty games on Thanksgiving. The NFL one is why the ratings are down. Does anyone care about the Turkey Day games? And wasn't ironically Brady threw from the 1-yard line?
Yeah, so what Phil's talking about is the Super Bowl last year. Was it last year? No, yeah, last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago? I don't know. I'm still devastated. Super Bowl 2 years ago, the Seahawks decided to pass it on the 1-yard line on 2nd and 1 instead of hand off to Marshawn Lynch, and it was disastrous. And it is kind of funny that the end of the Seattle-New England game this last week ended on the 1-yard line. Yeah. I don't think it's ironic. I just think you have 2 amazing teams who are equally talented with great coaches. It's just these games are always going to come down to inches, man. I mean, these games, everyone is so evenly matched that this is what makes football great, when you get these matchups that are so good that it literally comes down to 4 plays on the 1-yard line. Can you get in or can't you? And that's why people love football. Why have the games been crappy lately? Because we've gotten a lot of really bad teams, bad officiating, and because of the new CBA, a lot of teams are paying their top-end players and then bringing in undrafted rookies and starting them right away. So it's just people don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, and it's that whoever made the schedule was going against, who was good last year. And the teams that were good last year are fucking sucking balls this year.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about, joking about the Packers. I mean, the Packers are not good this year, but you wouldn't think the Packers weren't going to be good this year. I mean, who knew the Raiders were going to be amazing this year?
Yeah. Well, and the other part of Phil's question was the 3 Thanksgiving games, which is the Vikings, Lions in the morning, the Redskins and Cowboys in the afternoon, and the Steelers and the Colts at night.
I actually think 2 of those 3 are going to be good games. I think the Steelers and the Colts, because they have no defense and a lot of offense, could be entertaining. And the Cowboys and Redskins could be really good as well.
I think, like you said, those are going to be 2 great games. I will probably ignore the 12:30 game just because that's prime turkey time.
Yeah, that's prime turkey time, and no one gives a crap about the Vikings and the Lions. But because the Lions and the Cowboys play every Thanksgiving, well, that's why you get those games. So I don't know. I'll enjoy it. I'll eat a lot. I'll go into a food coma and drink a lot of beer. So I don't really give a shit. I'm just glad we have football on Thanksgiving to watch. We'll be watching the Apple Cup here. Actually, I'll be watching the Apple Cup a day later. That's the game I'm excited for.
Yeah, I won't be able to watch it. So I'm pissed.
All right. Let's see here. I have a question on my page.
Last week?
I know. We'll never finish the show if we start talking about Huskies. Eric from Jersey, he wants to know if his Oakland Raiders, another football question. He wants to know if his Oakland Raiders, if we think they have a legit chance this year of going to the Super Bowl. Yes, I actually do. I mean, I think they're going to have a really hard time beating New England, but if I had to pick right now, I'm saying it's going to be Oakland and New England for the AFC Championship. So I think, I would love to see it end in a tuck rule that goes in the Raiders' favor. Honestly, I think it'd be poetic justice. But I think the Oakland Raiders are a year away. I think next year they are going to be a scary, dangerous team. But I think this year, I think they're a good team, and I see a team that could definitely challenge for the Super Bowl berth. I think it's going to be them in New England.
Well, I think what Oakland really needed was a coach like Del Rio. He set the tone this year where every other team would have just kicked the extra point.
Nope.
And tied the game and gone into overtime. And he fucking went for 2. And that's just shit nobody does anymore.
Well, they got a young team. They got a ballsy team. They remind me a lot of the 2012 Seahawks, where they're just lots of attitude, tough as nails. They fight to the end in almost every game. And I think they're going to be a really good team. And as a guy who's a Seahawks fan and definitely hates all the AFC West teams, it pains my heart. But, man, I think the Raiders are a legit team, and I definitely think they have a shot this year. We'll see. Now, if they go to the Super Bowl, they're going to lose to the Seahawks. So, I mean, if you want to see a good old-fashioned AFC West matchup, then, hey, I'm down for it.
We'll see how well Eric stays your friend.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, you know what? If he's been my friend through all my anti-Trump talk, then I'm sure he'll still be my friend. We'll see. Yeah. Let's see here. That's a special shout-out to all the people who've been my friend through my angry political tirades lately. I have not unfriended anyone who I do not agree with, so I appreciate everyone who has not unfriended me because I do not agree with them. Second question, does anybody else like green bean casserole? Fuck yes, Eric. That shit is amazing. My wife makes an amazing green bean casserole. Super good. Ryan?
Everyone likes green bean casserole. How can you not? Anything casserole is pretty much good.
That's true. I don't like tuna fish. I don't like fish.
Okay, so we have Brian from Washington. He said, since you both have almost given up on Arrow, how do you feel about the season so far, and how do you like the new team members? I have watched the first episode.
Then I will speak for this. I'm completely caught up on Arrow. It's getting really good. I actually really like the new team. It has
tell me that.
Well, it has Mr. Terrific, Ragman, Mad Dog, and Artemis are the new team members. With Diggle, he's the only original team member that came back. It's actually been a lot of fun. It's been a good season. The villains have been good. The story has not been ridiculous. They've gotten rid of a lot of the bad things about the show and kind of brought it back to the things that made the show good. It's still not as good as season 2, which was the pinnacle, but it's much more like season 1, which was entertaining with a few. Every now and then you get an episode that's like meh, but for the most part, it's been fun to watch. It's been entertaining, and I haven't just sat here watching it going, come on. If you liked Arrow, get back on board. It's still good. If you think Arrow's a stupid show, this is not going to bring you on board with Arrow. I think it's good for what it is, and I am glad that it's at least watchable again.
Yeah, I know I need to get back into it. I haven't had time.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot. There's so much good content, like we talked about earlier. Phil did have a follow-up question to that. He wanted to know if Arrow was worth watching, and what other shows on the CW should he get caught up on. He's only been watching. He's finally got caught up with The Flash. Him and his son watch it together.
Supergirl.
Yeah, Supergirl's great, but honestly, I think you could probably start at season 2 and then catch season 1 later at your leisure when you have time. Legends of Tomorrow, same thing. First season was kind of dumb. Apparently, the ratings are really struggling with Legends of Tomorrow. They're moving it to Tuesday after Flash to hopefully get the ratings back up, but I feel like that's a show that could be canceled after this year to make maybe room for other DC shows in the future. So, just watch season 2. If you want to watch the crossover, I feel like you can probably just watch the crossover and enjoy it. I don't feel like you're going to need to watch every season. If you have time, watch them. But honestly, Phil, I've told you this before. He is not watching Daredevil. Watch Daredevil. If you want to get caught up on a Marvel show, watch Daredevil, or a comic book show. Watch Daredevil.
Caught up on Daredevil?
And watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Ghost Rider. Those are the ones I would get caught up on. If you want to watch the DC shows, I love them a lot. Flash is my favorite, but you could probably just start watching them and just enjoy them for what they are. You don't necessarily need to watch all 5 seasons of Arrow, 4 seasons of Arrow.
You can watch Supergirl season 2, and you would just fine. Missing the first season. The first season is good, but season 2, it's basically just like watching the Flash just for Supergirl. So, let's see. We have another question from Dale. In Washington. He wants to know what kind of the no Raiders rule on old school Madden, or so what kind of your house rules for video games or board games do you have? And for people that don't know, the no Raiders rule is basically if you played Madden 93, 90, like any of the first Madden games, and you played as the Raiders would basically just kick everybody's ass.
Yeah.
So there's always you can't pick the Raiders.
Yeah, basically we always made, as far as my rules, is we always made the rule that you can't pick whatever team. So there's always one team in Madden that's like 99 and it's better than every other team. Yeah. So you couldn't – our rule was you had to pick equal teams. So if you picked a 99, I got to pick a 99. So we'd say like, okay, we're picking teams in the 80s, and you take a team that was like 82 overall or whatever. Yeah. The only other rule is you could never be the 85 Bears when they introduced the classics, because that team you just could not score on ever. They made every defensive player was a 99, and Walter Payton was 100, and he just ran over everybody.
Yeah, or any team that had Bo Jackson on it. So
yeah, the classic. Listen, man, the legends in NFL are great, but the Madden just makes them unbelievably epic, and they just destroy everybody. So, but as far as Madden, that was kind of our only rules. Basically, whatever team you wanted to be, you could pick whichever one you wanted. So if you wanted to be the Cowboys and they were an 87, you had to pick that means we were playing teams in the 80s. You had to pick a same team that was in the 80s. So we always want to make them as fair as possible and have fun with it. So, and in Seattle, we don't let anybody be the Seahawks in any of the Maddens now, because the Seahawks are always like a 95.
Yeah, I don't currently. We changed a lot of the rules. I mean, like my son and I play Risk a lot, so I've heavily modified the rules for Risk. I mean, it would take.
You have to streamline Risk, or else you can play it for 10 hours.
Yeah, and so when it's just 2 people and one of them's 9 years old, it would just be like, yeah, you know what, I lose half of my army on that one. That's fine. Just like.
Well, hey, real quick, if you want to play Risk, a little side note here. If you want to play a Risk game and make it actually pretty fun and pretty fast, buy Risk for like your Xbox or any of the consoles you have online. When the computer does it, it's amazing how fast the game goes, because you can't have any cheating or you don't have any rules. It just goes really quick.
Yes.
But as far as any other games, I don't really have anything off the top of my head, Dale. But and considering we're running super, super long, I can't think of anything, so we'll just move on. But
yes,
thanks for the question. We appreciate it. As always, everyone, thank you for our questions. We appreciate you guys taking time every week to let us know your thoughts and be part of the show. So thanks as always. And lastly, we're moving on to our weekly recommendations. We'll make something really, really quick and get the fuck out of here. So, do you got anything for me?
No, I got watch. Try and get caught up on shit if you're fucking a parent, because you can't.
Especially the Geek Dad Report. Get caught up on that show. That's amazing. I hear.
Yeah, get caught up on the Geek Dad Report. Best show on iTunes.
On the interwebs.
So what about you, Brian?
Recommend it for sure. What am I? Well, I actually have a legitimate recommendation this week. Star Trek Beyond, the third movie in the rebooted Star Trek universe. I didn't know what to think about this movie because it's the first one not directed by J.J. Abrams, but it's goddamn amazing, man. It's really good. I really liked it. It's by far the best action movie of the three, which is no surprise considering it's directed by Justin Lin, who did Fast and Furious, the last Fast and Furious movie. I'm not going to say it's my least favorite because I just really enjoyed the J.J. Abrams versions because I like the way J.J. Abrams does sci-fi. But it's really good. It's equally as good, just in a different way. It's definitely much more action-oriented. But in some ways, it's much more Star Trek than the first two movies. They're on a mission. They're meeting aliens. It's very, very Star Trek-y. But it's a lot of fun. I watched it with my kids. They absolutely loved it. It's probably the most rewatchable of all the Star Trek movies. And
because I'll be honest, I've seen both the first two, maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I like those better the first time I've seen them, but yeah, you're right. I haven't watched them again. This one I will watch multiple times just because it's that kind of movie, and my kids loved it. So I'm not gonna spend a lot more time on it. It was highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes. This is not a crap or craptastic. This is a well-reviewed movie. But the critics were right. If you have not watched Star Trek Beyond, definitely check it out. If you're a Star Trek fan or just a fan of fun action sci-fi, definitely check out Star Trek Beyond. It is worth the buy on Blu-ray. Spend the $20. You won't regret it. Star Trek Beyond. Bye, people. All right, got anything else?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I bet you are. It's already midnight, so where you're at. Anyway, thanks, everybody, for joining us for another fun edition of the Geek Dad Report. Hopefully you guys had as much fun as we did. Sorry for the turbulent intro. I just couldn't fucking speak tonight. And like Ryan said earlier, we will be off next week due to Thanksgiving. We may try and do a fun little short something for you guys, so be on the lookout for that. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll bring some fucking awesomeness with us.
Eat some turkey.
Yeah, get fat, watch football, and hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. We will definitely be active, and we will be there for all of you guys to interact with. So, as always, thanks. You guys are fucking amazing. And Ryan, stay sexy, bitch. Yeah.
I'll see you.
I'll see you on the flip side. Later, y'all.